So some people are going to ChatGPT to talk about their problems instead of talking to real people going to therapy. I literally saw a post where someone said, I'm done venting to friends, I'm done talking to people, I'm done going to therapy, I'm just going to tell ChatGPT my problems. We're actually cooked. As a society, we're actually cooked. What sense does it make to go to ChatGPT? Actually, I'll tell you what sense it makes. People who don't want any accountability, people who don't want to be challenged, people who don't want to grow, people who don't want to actually understand that sometimes you might be the problem. I've done many rounds of therapy and I will continue to do more rounds of therapy because there are many things that I know I have issues with, things that I need to learn, things that I need to grow from, things that I need to heal from. I understand people saying things like, well, I don't want to talk to people because they're going to spread my business. First of all, find better friends. Find better friends. That's all I can say. Human beings, we're supposed to extend understanding and compassion for one another. The fact that going through dark times, you're turning to machine learning is one of the scariest things I could think about. We really are living in a Black Mirror episode.
ChatGPT single-handedly has made me a less anxious person when it comes to dating, when it comes to health, when it comes to career. Anytime I have an anxiety, instead of bombarding my parents with texts like I used to, or texting a friend, or like crashing out, essentially, before doing that, I always just voice memo my thoughts into ChatGPT, and it does a really good job at calming me down and providing me with that immediate relief that unfortunately isn't as accessible to everyone. Say you can't afford a therapist, or your therapist only meets with you every 2 weeks, or again, maybe you don't have that close of a relationship with family or friends, or you move to a new city. ChatGPT does a really good job at least laying it out for you and providing you with that kind of crutch in the thick of a crash out, and in the thick of an anxious spiral. So if you can't afford therapy or you don't have anyone to talk to, sometimes ChatGPT might be the move. Maybe not long term, but for now.
Y'all said using ChatGPT for therapy was unhinged. And I agree. ChatGPT being your only form of therapy is crazy. Trusting a computer to give you therapy, wild. But have you ever considered using ChatGPT plus therapy? Hear me out. I was on the verge of a tweak out. I didn't know what to do. I don't have my session with my therapist until later today at 2, and I need assistance now. I told ChatGPT what was going on, and they helped me respond well to what's going on to make me tweak out. All I'm saying is, it's not as unhinged as you think. ChatGPT got something going on here, man. If y'all don't trust that, I do.
So I'm just now finding out that people are legitimately telling ChatGPT all their secrets. You're letting a random robot algorithm know everything about you, like your deepest, darkest things. Oh my god, we're really gonna have a robot revolution. They're gonna enslave us, and it's your fault.
ChatGPT literally has become like my new therapist. Like, I've been using it for like months, and I still be fucking up and doing the same things I ain't got no business doing. And I literally like understand people so much better. And I understand what I'm doing. And it's like, I'm always been a very self-aware person, but it's to the point to where, like, even when I'm meeting people or I'm talking to them, I could put in certain conversations that we had, and I have ChatGPT analyze and let me know what they think and where I'm messing up or what's actually going on. When I tell you, ChatGPT will read you down for filth. It will make you, baby, question your entire existence, question what you're doing. It's like, it's doing the universe work. So I'm telling y'all, use ChatGPT more than trying to get jobs and resumes or anything like that. Like, child, let it be your friend. Let it be your friend.
ChatGPT has helped me more than 15 years of therapy. This Reddit thread is going viral with hundreds of comments discussing and debating the use of AI for mental health. Many people agree, not to mention the expensive cost of therapy and limited access, whereas AI is available 24/7, infinitely patient, and can tap into a broad range of frameworks or training modalities. One commenter said they tried it for the first time after reading this thread, then was crying 15 minutes later.
Hey everyone, it's Bree. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about AI. AI is a huge topic of conversation as of lately, but what I want to get into today is how people are using AI as therapy. I've been seeing a lot of conversations around people using ChatGPT as their therapist. People are inputting prompts and asking ChatGPT, questions about their life and asking them for advice, and ChatGPT is giving them answers. And when I first saw people talking about this, I didn't really take it that serious at first because I thought people were just like, I didn't think people were being serious, but then I actually saw a lot of conversations around like people using AI and how they found it to be more helpful than venting to an actual, friend or family member. And I thought this was a really interesting conversation to have because I have mixed opinions on it, because again, when I first saw this becoming a thing, I honestly did think it was really weird. Like, I'm not I'm not gonna lie, like I feel like we are all witnessing how AI is really taking over our lives and it's becoming a part of our day-to-day. We're seeing AI being implemented in almost every single app and website that you use at this point. Honestly, everything, like all of our social media apps, you have like Google, like Gmail has AI, like everything has AI in it at this point. And I feel like there's really no escaping that. And I feel like people, you do still have like a large amount of people who are very much against AI altogether and they want it to go away. But I feel pretty confident that we're past that. We're past that. I think the focus now should more so be on, protecting ourselves and protecting artists first and foremost, and making sure that there are certain laws in place to make sure that we are all protected when it comes to, AI using our personal information and stealing, art and stealing content, from original artists and writers and things of that nature. I think that should more so be the focus instead of just completely getting rid of AI, because at this point there's no getting rid of it, right? But, when I see that people were using AI as therapy, I was like, okay, we're far gone. We are far gone. Like, the fact that people are resorting to talking to literally like a robot basically instead of talking to an actual human being, I feel like speaks to where our society is. Because here's the thing, I know people have mentioned the cost, right? Like, the cost of going to an actual therapist is really high. A lot of insurances don't cover it, and so you have a lot of people that were like, well, I can't afford to go to an actual therapist, so I'm gonna use ChatGPT. And like, I see the point, I see the vision, but then again, it's like, okay, well, do you not have friends and family that you can go to? And I understand that not everyone does, and I think that is also a part of the conversation as well. There's been a lot of discussion online about how society right now is so disconnected from each other. Like, even though we have all of these social media apps and, we're connected virtually, we're still missing that human connection. Like, it's just not the same anymore. And you have a lot of people who are feeling disconnected from their families and people who are struggling to, make friends and to keep in contact with people. And you've been hearing about this loneliness epidemic. I know it's been primarily put on, Gen Z being the loneliest generation, but I think all generations are feeling it right now. I think that people, again, are struggling to feel connected to people. People don't have that sense of community and that support system. There's a lot of people out there right now that are lacking that.
Okay, I just want to talk about something that's been pressing on my mind for a while, and this is about not reaching out to your loved ones when you're going through it. And I'm realizing that at this big age of mine, like, honestly, after like 26, 27, a lot of people start to reach out less to their loved ones and they try to handle things on their own. And let's talk about it. One thing that I have been noticing as I get older as an individual is not asking for help as much. And I think that is the biggest detriment to a lot of people our age in the society, because I'm talking from like 25 to like honestly 40. So it's a big age range, but specifically 25 to 30, people trying to be individual and this individualistic lifestyle. And I think it hurts us. I think it hurts us so much because no one wants to go through shit alone. I'm sorry. It sucks to go through things alone. I know I hear people say, I just gotta figure things out on my own so I can get back on my feet. I don't want people to, be worried about me. I'm just like, that I think leads into a bigger depression. I think it makes things worse, and I don't want people to do that. I think we should be able to lean in on our friends and family more, especially in times of need. It's just, I feel like in this America specifically, we're just so big on individualism, where we get so lonely We're lonely, and it is not okay. We need to figure something out.
And so I also understand from that perspective of like, hey, if I don't have a community and I've actively have tried to lean on friends and family, but say again, they don't have those people in their lives, or sometimes you have people in your life that care about you, but they don't know how to deal with or handle what you have going on and your feelings and your emotions. And so it almost feels like you're talking to a brick wall, or you're not being heard by the people around you. So you feel more heard by this AI chatbot. And here's the thing, I understand the financial component completely, right? Like I am not against people using AI in order to compensate for something that they couldn't normally afford to do. You know, like I've seen too, there's like this AI skincare app that's been going around as well, where people are having this app like scan their face and tell them what they need in replacement of a dermatologist. Now, here's the thing. And even with that, right? Like I don't think that AI can truly replace actual people. I even though I feel like that's where society is going, I don't feel as though that, again, I don't think that ChatGPT is a complete reliable replacement for an actual therapist. And I don't think like some of these like AI apps, like the skincare app for example, I don't think that you could ever really replace a true dermatologist with an AI skincare app. I think that they are good temporary alternatives until you can actually have like those in-person consultations, because at the end of the day, when you're talking to ChatGPT or whatever chatbot that you're using, depending on how long you are communicating with ChatGPT, you know, it has all of your chat history. And I don't think that it's hard for chat to be completely unbiased, because it also typically formulates a response that you will be in agreement with, right? Like the whole point of ChatGPT is that you put in your prompt, or you're putting your question, and its goal is to give you something that you are pleased with, right? When it comes to actual therapy, like that's not the goal of it. Like sometimes you're even told things you don't want to hear. And I know that there's going to be people out there that are going to say, oh, well, I talked to ChatGPT and it still told me things that I didn't want to hear, but I needed to hear. Again, to each their own. But again, I don't think that ChatGPT is a one-for-one replacement with an actual therapist. And again, I understand people not being able to afford therapy, so you got to do what you got to do in the meantime. But I don't want this to lead into people thinking that ChatGPT is going to help them resolve some of those like deeper issues, right? Like, sure, if you need to just get something off your chest, if you need to vent, again, it's so weird to say, because again, I think it's hard to wrap my mind around the fact that this is where we are in society. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. It just feels weird. It feels weird that people are actively talking to a chatbot to vent and release instead of talking to an actual person. But I understand that that's, you know, where we're at. And like I said earlier, some people just don't have that support system. So I guess having ChatGPT is better than nothing. But I don't want people to actively rely on ChatGPT solely. Again, true healing and working through like deep psychological issues that people need to work through in person with an actual therapist or psychologist, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, it is starting to feel like society is becoming heavily dependent on AI, and it feels a little bit dystopian. I'm not gonna lie. Again, I think AI can definitely be helpful in some situations, and I think that's what AI should be used for. It should be used to help, like as a tool, but not necessarily to rely on. Because again, we're seeing that more and more people are so reliant on AI that they can't really think or do for themselves, just in general. Like you're seeing it a lot in schools as well, like forgotten how to write papers, how to do proper research papers. They're just having AI write their essays for them, you know? Like you're seeing it across the board where people are just relying so much on it that without it they can't really function.
Not to sound really woo-woo, and I don't think I'm the first person to talk about this, but I think AI is going to make us dumber in the long run. Like, don't get me wrong, I think like besides the environmental impacts, casual use of AI for like little things is fine, but like over time, I think we're just going to like start to stop using our like critical thinking skills if we use AI to just like solve things, research things, and like delve deeper into things for us. I saw a tweet recently that said like critical thinking and being able to like research, delve deeper, and to cross-check information is a skill that's acquired, but is also something that can be lost if it isn't used. And I think like most skills, it's like one of those things that like you either use it or you lose it. And I fear that over a longer period of time of like getting used to like not having to do those things yourself, not having to actually like think, not actually having to like put in time to research and thinking in a way to get AI to give you results rather than using AI to supplement your own thoughts, we're gradually going to see people like not be able to put those pieces together. Like we're already seeing it now. Like I'm not saying that people are just gonna like magically not know how to think, but like especially like with younger generations growing up, like young Gen Alpha that are like growing up with AI, researching on your own, like doing all this stuff that you had to do back in school is not going to be as common. Like I need the girls to start doing DBQs again, like bring back research and evidence-based inferences and finding, because organically being able to do that is going to be a lot harder and a lot rarer for a lot of people.
Look, I'm one lazy motherfucker. If I can make something quicker, make something easier, I will. But you know what I have never, ever done? Use ChatGPT to write my fucking essay. With peace and love, if you cannot write a paragraph, if that is taking you like 50 minutes, you are a bonehead. And I fear you need to take it back a few steps to 5th grade where we learned how to write. Maybe you were failed by your 5th grade teacher. Maybe you were failed by your high school teachers. Maybe you were failed by your parents. And that's okay, and I'm sorry, but college isn't the right place for you right now. Who is paying for your classes? Because if it was you, maybe you'd have a little bit of concern for the sanctity of your education. And I am not some fucking moral hard ass, like, cheating is wrong. I don't give a fuck. This is purely about, I can't stand being in university with fucking idiots.
Like, even speaking for me, like, I've even found myself, struggling a bit to come up with original ideas, because sometimes I'll just go to chat and be like, hey, give me 10 ideas for X, Y, and Z. And I've actually made it a point to stop relying on AI so heavily, because even I can see how my brain is starting to lose some of that creativity, because, you have ChatGPT that can do it for you, right? But I don't think that it can truly replace true creativity and, again, people in general. Like, and I also saw people talking about how when it came to using ChatGPT as therapy, that they felt more comfortable dumping their problems on chat than on their friends and family. And again, I think this speaks to a greater issue of people not feeling like they have a support system and not feeling comfortable with the community that they have, or they don't have a community, right? And I think that says a lot, with, again, where society is today, where we don't even feel comfortable enough to talk to each other.
And today's rant is about community and how I feel like my generation just don't really care about it anymore. And it's causing a domino effect of fucked up things, from romantic relationships, platonic relationships, just how people think and how people are. We are losing the sense of community. People just don't care about other people. You all don't care about hurting people's feelings. You all don't care about being mean to people. You all don't care about being inconsiderate to people. This is just became an I don't really give a damn generation. And how did we get here? What has happened? Like, I get it. COVID caused a lot of people to be antisocial, but we can't keep blaming COVID in 2025. There are so many factors that go into this. You don't celebrate your friends' milestones. You just don't give a damn. Half of y'all don't even know what your friends do for work. Every day when I see stuff on the internet, I'm more and more thankful to God for the community I have of friends. This bothers me so much, and I just don't feel like people realize it. We are creating an antisocial, I only care about social media and I only care about myself generation. And if we don't stop, it's just going to keep getting worse.
And this is something that I think everyone has dealt with. Again, I don't think this is a generational thing. I know people love to say like it's just Gen Z that has this issue, but no, like I've seen it across the board where people are struggling to find people that they can trust and that they can talk to. And again, like the people that feel that way, like it could be because they're just not comfortable with doing that because they feel guilty about, you know, throwing other problems on someone else. Or maybe they've been in situations before where they tried to vent to friends and family, and maybe they expressed that they were not comfortable with that, or those people made them feel uncomfortable with venting, so they just stopped. Again, like that's something that, you know, I've experienced personally, not as of recent, but definitely like in years past, where I thought I could confide in people and then I would, and then it was like this weird response of like, it's weird too because like you have people that'll say like, you know, oh, you can tell me, you know, anything, and if you're ever going through anything just let me know, and then you tell them and then they don't know how to handle it. And I know that feeling true loneliness can be very, very scary, like when you feel like you don't have anybody, you don't have any support, and you just feel alone. Like that can be a very scary place to be mentally. And so, you know, again, if it does come down to that and the only solution you have is to talk to ChatGPT, and it's something that has been helping you at least work through your own personal thoughts, because, you know, I also could see a world where using ChatGPT could be a form of journaling, in a sense where you're almost like you're journaling your thoughts down to, again, a chat bot, and then it's giving you a response in return, right? Like I could see it as some way of releasing emotion, right? I don't want people to get too attached and reliant to the responses that ChatGPT is giving them, because like I said, I just don't think it's the same thing as going to an actual professional that can, you know, implement compassion and emotion, which is something that these AI tools, like even though they can try to mimic emotion, is not true emotion, is not true compassion. Like it's just all whatever they're able to contrive from whatever they pull on the internet. And so again, I don't see an issue with using it maybe as a way to kind of get out your thoughts, but my first course of action is always going to be an actual person. And I really had to sit and think too, like, is this something that I would ever do? Because, you know, my journey with therapy has been, you know, interesting. I did therapy consistently from 2022 all the way through 2024. And then when I moved out on my own, I could no longer afford to do therapy, but I also started to look into other types of therapy, because the main type of therapy that I was in was just talk therapy, right? So just talking through what I was going through. And I noticed that at a certain point, I kind of felt stagnant and I felt like I needed a little bit more. So I'm currently in the process now of trying to figure out what the next step, what the next level of therapy looks like for me. So because I'm kind of past the talk therapy part of my healing journey, I don't really see any benefit in using a ChatGPT. And even on the topic again of me not really having the funds to do therapy currently, I still can't see myself using it. And I do wonder like what the age range is for people that are using ChatGPT, because I also feel like this is dependent on how you grew up, right? Because if you grew up like solely like on social media and using technology and you're growing up in this AI era, it may not feel weird to those people because they're used to it. It's ingrained in their day-to-day life. Whereas someone like me, like I have had, you know, I was born in like that little middle point, that point that people don't like to acknowledge, but we do exist. There are Gen Z people that did experience life before social media, before technology. I was one of those people. And so for me, even though a lot of my life was in the age of technology and social media, even with that, I didn't experience a lot of that until I got older, because my mom kind of kept me away from social media. Like I didn't even get my first cell phone until like, I think I was in middle school when I got my first cell phone. And it was because like my mom wanted me to be able to contact her like in the event of an emergency, and being able to just keep in contact with her a little bit better in general in case she couldn't like reach the school immediately or whatever. Yeah, so for me this just feels very weird, but maybe for the people that are, you know, using this as a tool for them, I could see maybe how it's it's a normal thing for them. So I don't know, but for me, I just don't think that I could ever do something like this. Although I heavily judged it at first, I'm trying to understand, right? Like, if you're out there, if you're somebody that uses ChatGPT as therapy, let me know. Like, put it down in the comments, like what your experience has been and like what led you to using ChatGPT. I think that's the conversation that I would love to have on this video, is the people that are out there that are using ChatGPT as therapy. What led you to doing that, and what has your experience been? Because again, I do want to understand why people are doing that, but again, I still have my reservations about it. I think easier said than done, but I do still prioritize going to an actual therapist. I think that is where the real work is done. I think ChatGPT can be a temporary solution, but that is just my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree. Those are my thoughts. Again, I understand that everyone has a community. I understand that everyone has a support system, and I understand that not everyone has the funds or the insurance to cover therapy, and I understand that sucks, and I want people to be able to still get the help that they need and some sort of support, even if they can't afford the actual thing. But I also hope that at some point we can work towards therapy becoming more available and accessible to people, and I hope that us as a society can start to come together and support each other, because I do think a lot of that is missing today. I feel like if we weren't so divided and just attacking each other 24/7, I feel like, not to say that mental health would go away, but I think that it would help people to feel less lonely and to be able to connect with people more. But I just feel like, society is just so combative nowadays. And, obviously that doesn't mean that, everyone can't still find their community even in the midst of what's going on in the world. But I do hope that we can get back to a sense of community, so that even if you aren't able to go to a therapist, that you're still able to have people to lean on during hard times, because we're all going through it right now, which I think is another, bigger point here, is that we are in some really crazy times right now. And I think that people's mental health is on the decline heavily right now, just with the economy and everything that's happening. And so, you have an influx of people that need help, that need support. And so if ChatGPT is their only source, then I honestly can't blame people for that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on this topic. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Again, if you are someone that uses ChatGPT as a form of therapy, let me know your experience in the comments down below, as well as what led you to doing that. I would love to have that conversation with you guys. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.